Hello Doomers and Doomettes, I'm your host Dee here with another quick video for you. This one wasn't exactly planned in my content schedule, but I wanted to briefly talk about it still, so I apologize if it's not up to my usual standards for editing. But recently, there are leaks floating around for the alleged plot of the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins film, currently set to come out in July this year. This plot leak comes to us courtesy of World of Geekdom, and is coming from a source which allegedly leaked the plot of Godzilla vs. Kong prior this year. I'll have the link to the original video posted in the description below. We're going to go over what was stated to be the plot of the film, and I'll give some of my own thoughts of it at the end. Bear in mind, these are just rumors at this point, so take all of this with a grain of salt, but just in case, here's your spoiler warning. Don't say I didn't warn you. Like I said, I'll be saving all my thoughts on things until the end, and this is just going to be the pure plot breakdown. The movie is said to open with Snake Eyes as a child, along with his father, and how they were attacked by the Yakuza, or the Japanese Mafia. Little kid Snake Eyes is hidden, but his father is killed during the attack. This then takes us to the modern era, where Snake Eyes works a series of odd jobs before being hired by a ninja clan who promises revenge on the Yakuza that killed his father. This is where he meets Storm Shadow, where they take up a job in a warehouse smuggling weapons. One way or another, it appears that Storm Shadow has disgraced the clan's rules and Snake Eyes is ordered to kill him. Of course, Snake Eyes refuses, leading to the first big fight of the film where they both escape. For sparing his life, Storm Shadow offers to train with Snake Eyes so they both can obtain revenge together. Snake Eyes then spends his spare time training with masters such as the Hard Master or the Blind Master, where he struggles to tame his inner rage and find peace. Apparently, there's also a training scene where he fights a giant snake. Apparently, the village Snake Eyes is in is guarding a magic rock that can turn people into dust. Wow, I wonder where they came up with that idea. And Snake Eyes is convinced by the person who initially tried to recruit him to steal the Infinity Stone, magic rock. It's here we find out that Baroness is working with the main villain of the Yakuza, purchasing the smuggled weapons, and that's how Cobra is tied into the story. Snake Eyes is caught trying to steal the magic rock and is banished from the village, where Storm Shadow is shamed for bringing him into the Arashikage clan, which causes him to feel betrayed. After this, Snake Eyes goes to hand over the magic rock to the baddies, where he gets to meet the guy who killed Daddy Snake Eyes. During a conversation with his dad's killer, he finds out that his father was part of the original G.I. Joe team. Snake Eyes then makes peace with this killer and finds out that the Yakuza are attacking the Arashikage village, and a motorcycle chase scene ensues. During the attack on the village in the final act, Snake Eyes finally dons his costume and wears the mask, and the fight ensues. Snake Eyes has his duel with the bad guy of the film, where he meets his demise when he gets eaten by the giant snake. The film then ends with Snake Eyes becoming a vigilante, and in the post-credits scene, Baroness recruits Storm Shadow. Scarlet, evidently, is scattered about throughout the film and keeping track of the characters and taking part in the occasional fight. So that's the plot, as it is rumored. So what do I think of it? Do I find this believable? Well, I guess it fits in a realm of possibility, and knowing modern day Hollywood, it seems likely. First off, just let me say this is just my first impression based on this info. I'll still have an open mind and will very likely to see the film, as I'm also taking this with a grain of salt, but I can at least look out on the information like this to see what the movie intends to be about. My main issue with what's presented here is it doesn't really feel like a Snake Eyes movie to me. It feels like it deviates too much from the character. Don't get me wrong, change is a good thing, just take a look at movies like Joker, which are radically different retellings. I never expected this to be a one-to-one retelling of the Marvel Comics backstory, but it feels like it goes a little bit too far. Snake Eyes being a mute, faceless character, I think is important to the franchise. It gives a sense of self-insertion, allowing anyone to identify with the character. It's the same for Cobra Commander on the other side. That faceless, mysterious appeal is what many are driven to, and it's why they're two of the most beloved characters in the franchise. This is touched upon in a Geeks and Gamers video I recommend, where the original staff of the cartoon admit that not having a face is what makes people project onto the character. But back to the movie, the fact that this plot seems to resolve around mystical objects with superpowers is another thing that concerns me. Each of the Transformer movies, with the exception of Bumblebee, all revolved around hunting a super powerful MacGuffin that can destroy the world. It's kinda lazy writing when you see it over and over and over and over again. Why do all these movies need a hunt for a magic object instead of creating more character tensions? And then why do you have the giant snakes? That sounds a little bit corny if it's true. It's the kind of thing that detracts from the realism in the film. I know that G.I. Joe has had its more fantasy moments, especially in the cartoon, but for a movie movie like this, where it's focused on the Ninja Clan and focusing on the brotherhood between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, this feels a little bit out there, especially with that magic stone. And then there's the fact that this feels like such a run for yet another cinematic universe. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for more G.I. Joe movies, but is anyone else getting tired of this rush for cinematic universes? Every movie seems like it's setting up for the next one, and if this is accurate, it feels no different. Baroness recruiting Storm Shadow as if it's the evil Avengers initiative, with Cobra having a background role, and then Scarlet reportedly have a small role where she's just kind of lurking around except for the occasional fight. Again, I'll certainly keep an open mind for the film when I see it. I'd love to be proven wrong, but ask yourself, how many movies try to set up this big overarching universe like Marvel, and how many of them actually work out? Do you really want G.I. Joe to be just another one of those failed cinematic universe movies like The Mummy? Maybe it will turn out good. After all, my expectations for Bumblebee were really low after the previous Transformers movies, but Bumblebee turned out to be fantastic. So maybe Snake Eyes can do the same, and it's completely possible that this supposed leak is just utter nonsense. But despite that, there's still one thing that's kind of certain. This movie better ramp up its marketing fast. There seems to be hardly any talk of it outside those in G.I. Joe communities, and as of the time of this recording, there isn't even a trailer yet. There were a lot of comments on World of Geekdom's original video that presented this information that were unaware that this film was even coming out, and quite a bit of confusion whether or not this was a reboot or a prequel to the Rise of Cobra film in 2009. So I mean, of course I want it to be a success, but right now Paramount really needs to step things up a bit. I know the movie industry as a whole is quite a bit in the air right now, and I really hope this film isn't a casualty of that. Something like Godzilla vs. Kong can have a late trailer because it was such a hyped up sensation, but G.I. Joe isn't the same like that. So far, the most media coverage came with Hasbro with their FanFest in early April. So where's all the marketing? That's all I got for this video, just a quick informal talk about some of those leaks. What were your thoughts on that plot leak? Do you think it was legitimate? Are you feeling optimistic? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and not miss out on any future uploads. Next video I'm working on is going to be an introduction to Transformers collecting, as well as the history of one of LEGO's biggest blunders, Galador. If you have any thoughts on those, or any future suggestions, let me know in the comments. That's all for today, and I hope I can see you next time.